WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys, and today I have a whammy. I have the American whiskey first batch Pedro Ximenez Octave finish, one of 171 bottles, cask strength, non-chilled filtered, natural color with 49.4%, whiskey base number 160921. For €45 from Holland, from the Netherlands. And over here I have then American whiskey second batch, Palo Cortado Octave finish, one of 177 bottles, cask strength, non-chilled filtered, natural color, 53.7%. Whiskey base 160920, also for €45. Now, I paid an extra €10 to get the two of these from the Netherlands over here to Germany, so I'm going to say they're €49 each. Now, I contacted the bottler, which is 3006 Whiskeys, and this is part of the spring 2020 bottlings, and he informed me, his name is Jop Boer, Jopboer, that this is one of 5 batches that they're going to bring out. So the first 2 has been done. So I asked, where did you get the spirits? He said, well, there was a bankrupt distributor over here in the Netherlands, and I bought his barrels. They were all at 57%. They were a blended bourbon. Wherever they came from, he didn't tell me. And he wasn't really up to speed with them. He was like, don't like them. A few months before that, Jop was in Spain and actually had bought then interesting, great, nice first fill sherry casks. Pedro Ximenez, Oloroso, Palo Cortado. I don't know what the other 2 were. We're going to find out in the fall of 2020. And then so he put that spirit into these. Now, very interesting, the octaves were the same size. So here we have an angel share of, because it's 57% originally, from basically 7.6%. Over here we have an angel share of only 3.3%, which basically makes the difference of 6 bottles. 6 bottles angel share difference means at €45 each, that is actually then €270 that were gone that the angels drank, which is a lot of money, by the way. Yeah, I mean, he had to pay less because of the taxes and this and that, but still, that's a lot of money gone by the angels or drawn up by the angels just because here he has 6 bottles less. All right, very, very good. I'm going to try both of these. I've done them both in my German videos. For those that don't know, I actually have a German channel. That's the main focus of my YouTube activities. And my English channels, I'm going to say very, very poorly an afterthought. And what I do with the English videos is if no one else has done a video, I will do them. And that's why I call my videos Rare and Exotics. 177 bottles worldwide, rare and exotic. Not even available in Germany. They're only available in the Netherlands from a new independent bottler over there called 3006 Whiskey. All right. I like Pedro Ximenez. I love Palo Cortado. I love the Diensten Palo Cortado. I've loved a few other Palo Cortado finishes I've had. Question of the day is, what other bottlings have you had with Palo Cortado? Now, natural color. If you take a look at these 2 bottles, you can see that the Pedro Ximenez is much, much darker than the Palo Cortado. And we also have less of an angel share. My personal opinion is that the finish here was not as long as it was here. All right, I may be wrong. I did not ask Jop if I was right with that question or not, but we'll see. Now, on the nose, I'm getting a very, very interesting dark Pedro Ximenez, dark fruit, dark berries, but I'm also getting bacon. I have no idea where that bacon came from. That's very, very unusual. I think it might be just a combination of the original spirit as well as the Pedro Ximenez casks here. Who knows? I don't know where this came from. That could be maybe even a Corsair, could maybe be a Texas whiskey. It might just be a Jim Beam white label that somehow made it over to over to Europe, and then someone else put them in the finishing casks. Oh, I like this. Oh, dark leather moments, berries. I'm getting baking powder. Why do I get baking powder from my pancakes? And a little bit of, as I mentioned before, leather, a little bit of tobacco leaves. This is very peculiar and also interesting because the base spirit is the same. This was a blended bourbon. This was 57%, and some of it went into this octave, and some of it went into that octave. So it's not the mash bill. It's not the original juice that is different. It's all about the finishing. Now, not many people finish bourbons. Legit. From Suntory Bean is what I'm going to call them now. They have started. They did some red wine casks. They did some sherry casks, and they've done that. I have a minor case over here in rye, which was also in a sherry cask. Of course, Angel's Envy was the first one that actually did it in a more professional way with their port casks in their bourbon and their rum casks with the rye. It's starting to become a thing in the bourbon world to finish. Now, most bourbon doesn't make it over here to Europe in a manner that we can actually finish it. It's usually bottled. And you sort of open the bottle, put it back in a cask, and so on. So I know you can buy casks and bring them over here to Europe, but that's always a little bit of a problem with import and customs and so on, and we now have tariffs and whatever else is out there that makes life a little bit difficult. Now, Jop, if you actually watch this video all the way up to this moment, I'm sorry, but your whiskeys are too inexpensive. I do not say this very often. If they would have been 55 euros, I would not have blinked. Now, I'm going to be very, very self-critical here. If they were 65 euros, I would have blinked and still bought them. Now, do not put the prices at 99 euros in the fall of 2020. But you can put a 10 euro per bottle surcharge on these, maybe even a little bit more. And I don't think I've said this once or twice in my life that your whiskey is too inexpensive. But in this case, sorry, for what you're offering and what's here, it's too inexpensive. And I don't love this whiskey. All right, so let's see what I meant with that. I don't love this whiskey. Great nose. That bacon is really, really bothering me. Oh, better nose. I like Palo Cortado. I'm going to have to buy a bottle of Palo Cortado sometime soon and just enjoy it. I've done other sherries, but I've never had the opportunity to buy just a bottle of Palo Cortado. I'm going to have to do that and just enjoy it and really familiarize myself with that flavor more and more, since I tend to enjoy it. Cheers. Wow. Ooh, estrogens. Pedro Ximenez, raisins. Now, I sometimes use a little bit of a comparison. Imagine you're listening to music. And of course, you can have the music between 1 and 10. So if you're in a normal situation, 3 could be enough. If you really want to rock, it's 6. And if you're a heavy metal fan, 9 is actually what you want to be, maybe 10. This is 13. You actually have a little bit of an overlapping of the sound here, of the flavors that just kind of distort everything. There's a lot of distortion in here. Is it an interesting whiskey? Yeah. Is it a good whiskey? If you gave this to me and said, "Hey, drink it," what is it? I would have went, it's a single malt that's been in a sherry cask for way too long. I don't get hardly any of the bourbon. Everything is so heavy. I think of imagine a landscape where you have like 3 feet of snow. and underneath you'll see cars and bicycles and even houses sometimes, and you just barely see a lump. That's what I'm getting here. It just overpowers everything and everything else out there. So I'm going to add a little bit of whiskey, a little bit of water to my whiskey, take it down to maybe about 46, 48%. It's already at 49%, so let it have a moment to rest. Over here, the Palo Cortado at 53%. What I do get on the nose is I get more alcohol. Cheers. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Here I got the estrogens towards the end. Here I get it from the very first second it hits your palate. That wood, it's just like a black hole sucking out all of the saliva from your mouth. Wood, sherry, tobacco leaves, leather, very manly type of moments here. And estrogens. Wow. Also here, it's going to need a few drops of water to even become a couple drops more to bring it down to 46, 48%. Do I like these whiskeys? Well, not particularly. Am I fascinated by them? Yes. Do I find this concept more than exciting? Definitely. Would I buy the next bottles coming out? You sure can bet your pony on that one. Will I buy another bottle of this? No. Will I buy another bottle of this? No. But I think the whole concept of this, of someone actually taking mediocre blended bourbon at 57% and throwing into these octaves, shows someone has guts. But I would actually have personally preferred a 6 weeks finish instead of a 6 month finish. Yeah, it's way over the top, in my personal opinion. There's a wood moment. There's an octave moment that comes through. I bet, now I might be wrong, I bet that the octaves are not, will they be? They should be American oak. I don't have the typical dark chocolate moment of European oak, so they're going to be American oak, but it's very, very overpowering. Wow. I'm going to give this a C minus with a value for money with a C minus. Over here, diluted down to about 48%. I think I know why this is 53.7% and not longer, or not lower. They didn't finish this as long as they did with the PX, as my first feeling. And second of all, why did they not? Because this actually demolished the bourbon underneath it already. You don't need to give it any more time. It just basically is, from the very beginning, it has one single taste. There's no complexity, no transitions. Wham! That is Palo Cortado. I like it. It's a C. For value for money, it's a C, and usually I always give lower. As I said, Jop, if you want to put a €10 on top of it, or even a €20 on top of it, I still think you'll be able to sell these bottles without any problem. Yet, I would personally prefer a finish that is not as intensive, extreme, and over the top. But hey, some people are looking for that. They love brimstone from balconies and other atrocities out there in the world. Why not? Much better the batch number 2 than the batch number 1, in my personal opinion. I love the concept. I love the artwork. Look at that. I mean, come on, it's a pinup. So even she is looking here great. Come on. I actually have people fighting over the bottles here to get the bottles after I've done my bottle share with them. This is just fabulous, fabulous labeling. Well done, well done. A little bit too much, too strong on the cask influence, in my opinion. All right, thank you very much for watching. WhiskyJason here. Question of the day is, which other bottlings do you know that have Palo Cortado in them? And if you take a look at American whiskey here from 3006 Whiskey, they actually have a shop finder on their website. Just for the Netherlands, you can actually find everything there. All right, all the best. WhiskyJason here. Bye-bye.